My name is Sergey Hasegawa and I'm the product specialist for Richlite in the musical instrument industry. Richlite sounds very much like ebony due to the fact that the density is almost identical. In most electric instruments, you're not going to be able to tell a big difference between different types of fingerboard materials because your electronics and your pickups are going to be more of an impact on the sound. One of our manufacturers, Martin Guitar, found that the Richlite had a superior sound quality to natural ebony in their sound testing chamber. One of the big issues that you have with an ebony fingerboard or a fingerboard in general is that when you need to refret the instrument to replace frets that have worn down, you need to remove them, and oftentimes when you pull them out, you'll get chipping in the material. Richlite does not chip out anywhere near the way an ebony would due to its consistency. One of the nice things about Richlite is because it's so similar to ebony, most people can't tell the difference between Richlite and ebony. The other thing that happens is that since it doesn't really have a grain, it's very smooth for playing guitar and for bending notes on a fingerboard. So we've been making Richlite since 1943, and we have numerous examples of Richlite that have been in the field since then. Musical instruments are often handed down generation to generation, and Richlite will last for multiple lifetimes, and because of its stability, it really will not change over time. Richlite is an extremely durable material. We use this product for industrial applications. It's used for skateboard ramps. It gets put on the outside of buildings. In a fingerboard application, Richlite will easily outlast the lifespan of a natural wood product. One of the key advantages to Richlite being used on a musical instrument is its stability. The resin and the combination of the paper gives you a material that's water resistant, it's moisture resistant, it's oil resistant, so you really don't have anything that's going into the material. It's not porous. Any kind of finish that you put on the surface is really pretty cosmetic. So in the end, you have a very stable material that's not impacted by moisture and temperature. The material is non-porous, and you will have very little maintenance that needs to be done to a Richlite fingerboard. The oils in your hand will actually kind of give it its natural sort of oiled finish, but it's not necessary to oil a Richlite fingerboard, and it requires effectively no maintenance. In addition to that, due to the lack of shrinkage, you'll also not have to maintain or trim your frets if there's any shrinkage on a fingerboard. One of the advantages of Richlite is that it's very similar to wood and can be fabricated, can be modified in a similar fashion with similar tools. So in a musical instrument situation, you are able to use traditional glues and traditional techniques to modify bridges, fingerboards, and all aspects of a Richlite instrument. Traditionally, when you're gluing two woods together, you just glue them together with a white glue, and because they're both porous, they will adhere to each other. When you're fabricating with Richlite, it's critical that you abrade the material and you give it some tooth, typically 100 grit, 80 grit, and once that's done, you can use any different types of traditional glues, adhesives that you would use on a musical instrument. So you can use epoxy, you can use white glue, hide glue even works. One of the other considerations that's very important when fabricating a Richlite fingerboard, when you're cutting your fret slots, you can use a slot cutter or you can use diamond tooling, but you'll need to open up the slot a little bit because the Richlite does not give like a natural wood product, and so it needs to have a little bit more tolerance built in for the fret tang to be accepted. There are a number of ways to finish a Richlite fingerboard. The guitar manufacturer Godin in Canada uses a very high polish finish that looks like a lacquer. It's actually just a polished, buffed Richlite. Gibson uses kind of a mid-grade sheen on their sanding, and Martin uses a very low sheen that's almost like a chalky dry finish on their fingerboards. All of those are acceptable. None of them have any different performance advantages or disadvantages. It's really just look and feel. So one of the nice things about Richlite is that it comes in a variety of thicknesses. We make Richlite from 1/4 inch all the way up to 3 inches thick. For your musical instrument application, typically you would use either a 1/4 or a 5/16. Therefore, you can get smaller pieces and a high yield for ukulele blanks. You can do banjo blanks in 1/4 inch, and you can also do guitar or bass fingerboards in 5/16. Bridges would typically be manufactured out of 1/2 inch material, but that depends on your design. We often get asked if you can use Richlite for a body of a guitar or for pick guards or for nuts. Richlite is a very versatile material and you can use it for all of these applications. Due to the price point and the material efficiency, the real sweet spot is in fingerboards and bridges. You can even use Richlite to make a solid body guitar. It does get heavy, but it has incredible sustain. And using different designs and chambering or different thicknesses, you can make an electric guitar out of Richlite and use any of the colors that we offer. When using our Richlite custom cascade multi-layer material, you need to consider the fact that the only reason you see this pattern is because of the radius that's cut in the fingerboard. When you get the blank, you will only be seeing the top layer of the material, and it will only show when you cut the radius into the material. Richlite is an interesting product because it's manufactured in a way that is partially art and partially science. When you make a piece of Richlite, you're taking multiple sheets of paper. It's a highly engineered saturating grade paper that is designed to be run through a phenolic resin. You're pressing them at a very specific heat and pressure to create something that on one hand is a very high-tech composite panel, and on the other hand is a very natural material that behaves like wood and will have some characteristics that are unique to each panel. People often ask, why would one instrument cost more than another, whether it has Richlite or natural ebony on it? And the reason is that the material is the same cost as ebony. Richlite is available through distribution throughout the United States and globally. It is also available as fingerboards through a number of suppliers and smaller distributors, as well as you can purchase Richlite fingerboards on the Richlite website.